Yo guys, it's Nader here, and I'm here to explain my draft analysis for the Hive versus NPL Miners War. And this video is unlisted, so I'm going to be pretty detailed about it and like what I might actually bring for my opponent, because since it's unlisted, he won't find it. And yeah, and since most of you already know what this is, I won't get too detailed. But yeah, this draft is basically for this war between the Hive players and the NPL Miners players, the B-Drill division from Hive. And it's going to be 15 players from each league, and they play each person plays only one person in a best of 3. And I'm playing a guy named Fallop. And Fallop, yeah, I've seen his replays. He drafts really well. He preps really well. The one thing I can potentially take advantage of is the fact that I don't think he plays that aggressively. So, and that's really good for me because he has some pretty scary offensive Pokemon. And so, like Weavile, Latias. Yeah, I'm not that worried about Latias because I have a lot of checks, as you can see, like Jirachi, Tapu Koko. But, you know, point is like, it's still pretty scary. And now I'm going to actually get on to the draft. And so we chose 2 Pokemon at a time, just to speed up the process. And my first 2 Pokemon were Jirachi and Tapu Koko. Honestly, I really want to try these Pokemon. I have not used, the only Pokemon here, okay, I've used Gliscor and Roserade. That's it, those are the only Pokemon I've used from before. And, well, Aromatisse is a pretty, like, simple Pokemon. Like, it's basically any fairy type, so I've practically used it, though I've never drafted Aromatisse itself. And with Jirachi and Tapu Koko, I want to try new Pokemon that are good. Like, okay, when I first saw it, I thought it was a pretty bad Pokemon, to be honest. I just thought, oh, it's only special attack is only 95. That's not that good. But dude, its move pool is so big. Dude, it has like, even if it can't hit something hard with its stab moves, it can still go for Nature's Madness and just like get 50% off. It can U-turn out on ground types, so you know it's like nothing to worry about there. And then it even has recovery, it has taunt. Dude, it even gets moves like Brave Bird. It has such a great move pool, man. It's good speed too. And Jirachi, I really like Jirachi. I really want to try it for a while. It's a really good steel type. And, you know, it gives me a rocker. It's also, you know, obviously for the Serene Grace, you know, just spam Iron Head, just win. Shout outs to Johnny GP. And, you know, it also has wish recovery too, which could potentially be useful. I don't really see myself using it as a wish user this game, but you know it's still good for that too, I suppose. What else to say about it? It has a really big move pool. I really like its move pool, honestly. Like Fire Punch, it just like I guess all the elemental punches, and it has U-turn as well. I have a lot of Volt Turn on this team. Although the top Pokemon are Volt Turn, essentially. And I think that's all to say about the first 2. Moving on, we have Hydreigon and Gliscor. Hydreigon, I just really want to complete like this offensive core I was planning, because Hydreigon, it helps with the ghost types that can potentially beat Jirachi, I suppose. And Hydreigon's weaknesses are taken care of by the other 2 offensive Pokemon being, and I'm referring to, you know, Jirachi and Tapu Koko. Hydreigon itself, it's a good possible choice Scarfer. And great dragon type though, and yeah, I love its offensive potential. Basically, one downside to this draft that I've like noticed the whole time was the speed tiers. Like it goes from Tapu Koko, which is fast, to Jirachi, which is like 100 base speed. So it goes from 130 to 100 instantly, and that's not the greatest. But the thing is, I have 3 good choice Scarfers. Well, 2 being Jirachi and Hydreigon. And even though Arcanine's never used for Choice Scarf, like, and personally I don't think, I can understand why, it still has potential as a Choice Scarfer. So, you know that's something to consider as well. And moving on, Gliscor. Gliscor is finally, like, me building up the defense, the backbone of this draft. Because, as you can see, one thing I really wanted to do is, like, have a more offensive draft this time. There's a lot of times where I draft useless fat, and it really like hinders my draft. With what I wanted to do here, my goal was to have defensive Pokemon that could be used offensively, or vice versa. So, for example, with like Mega Blastoise, it's mostly used offensively, just in general. But then you can also use it like as a defensive Rest Talk user. but we're not talking about Mega Blastoise right now, about Gliscor. Gliscor itself, it also applies to that to Gliscor as well, because it can generally just be defensive, or it can be like an SD set, agility set. It's also a pretty good rocker. I really like how it can just it's basically a stall breaker. My opponent doesn't really have much much stall in his team, but Gliscor still seems useful, but just not as a stall breaker. What else to say about it? Yeah, I really like how it's pretty good. Well, it's definitely a good ground immunity. That's a really good thing to have, because even Hydreigon's a ground immunity as well, but it's an offensive one, so you're not gonna send it in on Landorus T or without very confidently. So Gliscor is really good for a ground immunity. It's also a pretty good defensive fighting resist, which this team has Aromatisse as well, but it's still good to have more than one. And then my next two picks were Roserade and Mega Blastoise. I really like these picks. I love Roserade a lot. It's such a great. I love it how it's really good offensively and really good defensively, because it has Sleep Powder, Synthesis, and Hazards for defensive. And you can also run those moves offensively as well. This doesn't matter. And offensively, it has Technician for the hidden powers. It's just so good. And it even gets moves like Shadow Ball and Extra Sensory, which I love about Roserade. I love how it's really strong too. 125 special attack. Yeah, I've used it before, and I think I've used it really well, which is why I'm glad to draft it again. And then it also gives me a good water resist, because so far, I made up for my lack of water resist with these two picks. But Hydreigon, I would not really count that as a good water resist, because Ice Beam just easily weakens it. And moving on to Mega Blastoise. So, I was thinking for a long time what my bulky water should be. I'm pretty sure I was thinking something like Rotom Wash originally, because I had Tapu Koko and I thought, the Electric Surge synergy, that's great. But I don't know, man. Rotom, I drafted I think I drafted quite a bit, and it's just so it only has 4 moves to run anyway, 4 or 5. So what's the point? And Blastoise, it gives me hazard control. That's not default Gliscor, so it's actual hazard removal. It has such a big move pool as well. And then it also has Haze and Dragon Tail too. I just love its move pool. The one downside to its move pool is its lack of recovery, so lack of recovery move. But I made up for that with the Wish support from Aromatisse mostly, but then also Jirachi. But like I said, I don't really plan on using Jirachi as Wish support. I really love Blastoise's stat distribution, because I was thinking about drafting regular Blastoise with a different Mega, but then one of my friends was like, just don't do that. And I can definitely see why. Regular Blastoise has no offensive presence. That's why I like Mega Blastoise, because even if you use it defensively, it still has an offensive presence, which I like about it. And and then this whole time I knew I wanted to draft Arcanine, so I knew that would be one of the picks. But the other pick, I was just so I was thinking about that for a long time. And I decided, looking at this so far, with Arcanine, I had Fighting Resist. I had 3. But thing is, I wouldn't consider any of them to be great for Fighting Resist. Roserade and Gliscor get obliterated by Ice Punch. And Tapu Koko is just Earthquake, you know what I mean? So it's pretty risky Fighting Resist, if you ask me. So I wanted to draft a bulky fairy. Even though I had Tapu Koko, I wanted to draft a bulky fairy so that it could generally have an easier time versus fighting moves. I suppose Poison Jab can weaken it, but I don't know. I think it's fine, to be honest. That's why I wanted to draft Aromatisse, because it gives me Wish support for Blastoise, which was crucial, because, like I said, I'm planning on using Blastoise defensively. Looking at my matchup against Fallop, more specifically Spadef Blastoise, it actually has a really good matchup. And it also checks Weavile, because I haven't done the calcs yet, to be honest, but I'm assuming Knockoff won't do that much, because it's a Mega. And then it's just it also provides Heal Well, I suppose, and it can be taunted as well, so it's not easy taunt bait. I originally had Sylveon and Darmanitan, because Arcanine got sniped. But then Chiangyu was kind enough to offer me a trade of Sylveon for Arcanine, so I did that, and then I got rid of Darmanitan for Aromatisse, so just to explain that. And between Sylveon and Aromatisse, they're pretty much the same thing in this case. They both have good high HP to Wish Pass to Blastoise, so it's all good with me. Now Arcanine, don't, dude. Okay, I want to talk about Arcanine for quite a bit, dude. I've been wanting to use Arcanine in League for a long time. It's so strong. It's relatively fast, and it has extreme speed to make up for its lack of over 100 speed. And then it also has recovery and intimidate, so it can be used defensively. Dude, this thing it's really strong too because it has such a big move pool. Like when I face it on ladder and I realize it's offensive Arcanine, I'm just like, okay, this sucks because my fire resist just loses to wild charge. What do I do? And that I really love using Arcanine, dude. Personally, this might not have to do much with this, but between Arcanine and Entei, offensively, I just in general prefer Arcanine by far because it's better. It's in my opinion way better offensively because it has a much bigger move pool. Entei cannot touch water types really, especially after the burn nerf, whereas Arcanine can. And then also can be used defensively as I've mentioned. I forgot to explain that I decided to choose a ghetto background at Camden, New Jersey. I don't know, man. Just to be honest, it's kind of whatever. Oh, and there's Dr. Jansko in the corner with a volleyball. Our favorite 27-year-old Italian getting arrested for fixing leagues. But overall, at first when I saw the matchups, I thought, oh, this guy has a ton of fast Pokemon on, and I only have one naturally fast Pokemon. How do I do this? But then looking at it again, I think I have a really good chance. Especially if Arcanine, with Arcanine as my Z move user, I'm just gonna assume now it will be. Like, it's another Weavile check because Weavile in particular I was really afraid of because Aromatisse is not a good Weavile switching because Poison Jab. I assume it's gonna 2-hit KO. I haven't done the calcs yet, to be honest. And then, but still, I got two relatively good checks in Intimidate, Arcanine, and Mega Blastoise. So, I'm feeling better versus that thing. And then Jirachi looks really good as well. It's just like, because, just Iron Head flinch to win. So, overall, I was really happy with this draft. I think this might be, like, one of my best drafts ever. Definitely my best 8-mon draft. But the problem with my 8-mon draft is that, especially in free draft, I always draft shit. Okay, I'm sorry for cussing, but I just always... Okay, last time in Brawl for All, I drafted regular Venusaur. Because one of the grass types I thought that would be around was actually taken the whole time. So I was like, oh shoot. And there's just like a desperate backup, but no excuse for drafting regular Venusaur. But this time my grass poison is Roserade, so I have a much better chance. I think that's all I really want to talk about. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye.